Hello and welcome to my hair. Hello and welcome to my sunburn. Hello and welcome. So I have been geocaching whenever I can. It's working out to be every few days. Today I went out for about 3 hours, maybe it was four. The wife went with me, which is cool. I don't know about you, others that are geocaching, but I like going with somebody. I find it really hard to drive and also navigate, and I would prefer to navigate than I would to drive. Anyway, you don't care about that. I don't know if I mentioned to you, but one of my recent geocaches, one of the gifts or trinkets was this bike, and I don't know why, but I really liked it. I think of E.T. in that movie, and as you can see, it moves and whatever. So I left some goodies in its place and took the bike. And at the moment, I'm keeping whatever I take. In other words, I'm not putting it in the next cache that I find. Today, the only thing I took was a bunny. And in its place, I left an aardvark. I thought that was a fair trade. Um, so the first one that we went to, we spent about an hour and we did not find it. It was brutal, though. It was brutal. We had to hike in about close to a mile around the lake here, and then we zeroed in on it but did not find it. But all is not lost, because I'll probably go back there and maybe I'll take one of my geocaching pros with me and they'll find it within 2 minutes and I'll be frustrated, but whatevs. So anyway, a few things. I don't know if I mentioned to you that I got Delta wings out of geocache. I thought that was killer. Um, I have some kind of cool swag that I leave and some not so kind of cool swag that I leave. If I like their cache because it's creative or um, cool in some way, I leave cool stuff. If I do not like it because I think it's sadistic and cruel, and I think some of them are, I either leave nothing or I leave something not so great most of the time. I don't know if I've mentioned this, forgive me, I'm like Van, I can never remember what I've told you and what I haven't, even if it was 5 minutes ago. Because sometimes you vlog 4, 5, 6, 7 times in one sitting until you get one you're going to put up, and you don't know what you said and you didn't say. So there's that. Or it's early onset Alzheimer's, in which case, just point me toward the water. But anyway, I leave cool things or not cool things or nothing based on certain criteria. First of all, a lot of them are too small. You can't put anything in them, so there's that. It's done deal. And then there's, like I said, it's what I think of where they hid it, or the container, or some combination thereof. So, spent an hour, didn't find the first one, and then gratefully found the next one fairly easily. My wife found it before I did. The coordinates were off about 20 feet. I find that a lot. And I never know, is it my GPS or is it their coordinates? I don't know. What helped me is someone's log said it was 20 feet off, and really it helped my wife. She thought to go up. I went 20 feet right and left. She went up and went right to it. So that was our first find. And then the next one we tried was hard. It was freaking hard. It was on a very steep slope full of rocks, and it was a very small cache that looked just like a rock. Oh, it was so flippin' hard. I was about to quit because it was almost dark, but I just didn't want to end with, like, 1 and 2, one find and 2 not found. And so I just started, honestly, I started just picking up anything and everything in the general vicinity, because I remembered the other one that was 20 feet off. So I got to the zero where my GPS said, and then I did a 20-foot sweep, and honest to God, it was to the right about 20 feet, and it was about this big, and it looked totally like a rock, but when you flipped it over, it was not a rock, and it had a plate and you could open it. So I left them an ice cream, and if you recall, if you remember previous vlogs, that's my favorite, because that was killer. That was totally, totally killer. I was a little pissed because it's on a hill. I mean, it could have been, you could have done us a favor and put it on flat ground. It's just not as hard as trying to keep your balance. I almost biffed more than once trying to keep my balance and bend over and do what you do. It's hard with a bad back too, I guess. So I'm trying not to wind, but anyway, or whine, which is like wind, only not so turny, which is the international hand sign for turny. I've had a shower. I had to have a shower. and I'm sunburned. Can you see? But I had to shower because I was all up in this brush. Brutal, and I'm all scratched up. So I just went to Amazon.com and I ordered some long sleeve shirts and some cargo pants because I really think to geocache you should be wearing pants and long sleeve shirts because I am all cut up and all scraped up. Anyway, that is what I've been doing, and I know some of you started doing it because I mentioned it or whatever, and I know a couple of you. Is there anyone else doing it? Because I want to tell the person that started me, because I told him he's like a crack dealer. I said he's a geo cracker, and that's what I'm calling him. So I want to tell him because he got so excited about that. Because he's kind of a nerd, but so am I. I mean, really, talk nerdy to me. Really, I am. So he digs it, I dig it, and I'm having good times with it. It was kind of funny because how it ended was I came home and the TV was on because my son could not find the remote control to turn it off because it's one of those flat screens and you need it. Anyway, I thought it was really ironic that I found a really, really hard geocache, but it took me, I'm not exaggerating, like a half an hour to find the flippin' remote control. It was actually in the kitchen, which is way away from where the TV is, and that's a whole other thing. So anyway, I have been having a good time with it. I would tell you I'm clearly addicted, and all I'm thinking about all the time is I want to go geocaching some more. I know I can't tomorrow at all, but Saturday, I'm all about it. I don't know what the thing is, but I'm doing that too. I think it's the International I sign for retarded. That's me. Pieces.